TIFU by messing around in Singapore and getting caned as punishment, by user FUF7A3. I was born in Singapore, spent most of my childhood abroad, and only moved back at 17. Maybe if I grew up there I would have known more seriously how they treat crime and misbehavior. I didn't pay much attention in school and got involved in crime in my late teens and earlier 20s, eventually escalating to robbery. I didn't use a real weapon but pretended I had one, and it worked well for a while in a place where most people are unaccustomed to street crime, until inevitably I eventually got caught. This was during the early pandemic, so they maybe factored that in when giving me a comparably short prison term at only 2 years, but I think the judge made up for it by ordering 12 strokes of the cane, a bit higher than I expected. I knew it would hurt, but I had no idea how bad it actually would be. Prison was no fun, of course, but the worst was that they don't tell you what day your caning will be. So every day I wondered if today would be the day. I started to get very anxious after hearing a couple other prisoners say how serious it is. They left me in that suspense for the first 14 months of my sentence or so, until I began to try to hope, after hundreds of false alarms of guards walking by the cell for some other purpose, that maybe they'd forget or something and it would never happen. But nope, finally I was told that today's the day. I had to submit for a medical exam and a doctor certified that I was fit to receive my punishment. My heart was racing all morning, and finally I was led away to be caned. It's done in private, outside the sight of any other prisoners. It's not supposed to be a public humiliation event like in Sharia, the punishment rather comes from the pain. I had to remove my clothes and was strapped down to the device to hold me in place for the caning. There was a doctor there and some officers worked to set up some protection over my back so that only my buttocks was exposed. I had to thank the caning officers for carrying out my sentence to teach me a lesson. I tried to psyche myself up thinking, okay, it's 12 strokes, I can do this. But finally the first stroke came. I remember the noise of it was so loud and then the pain was so shocking and intense, I cried out in shock and agony. I tried then to get away but I couldn't move. By the third stroke I could barely think straight. I remember feeling like my brain was on fire and the pain was all over my body, not just on the buttocks. I think I was crying, but things become blurry after that in my memory. I remember the doctor checking to see if I was still fit for caning at one point and giving the go-ahead to continue. After the 12th stroke they released me, but I couldn't move. 2 officers had to help me hobble off. They doused the wounds with antiseptic spray and then took me back to a cell to recover. My brain felt like it was melting from the pain, so my sense of time is probably a bit distorted from that day, but I remember I collapsed down in the cell and either passed or went to sleep. But little did I realize that the real punishment of caning is more the aftermath than the caning itself. When I woke up the pain was still incredibly intense, but not so much that it was distorting my mind, which almost made it worse in a way. My buttocks had swollen immensely and any pressure on it felt like fire that immediately crippled me, almost worse than a kick to the groin. My first time I felt like I had to use the toilet, I was filled with dread because of the pain. I managed to do it squatting instead of sitting, but still, just the motion of going number 2 agitated all the wounds and the pain was so sudden and intense that I threw up. I tried to avoid eating for a week because I didn't want to have to use the toilet. After a couple days the officers told me I couldn't lay naked in my cell anymore and had to wear clothes. This was scary because they would agitate the wounds. I spent most of the day trying to lay face down and totally still because even small movements would hurt so bad as the clothes rustled against it. This continued for about a month before things started to heal, and even then, these actions remained very painful, just not cripplingly painful. I didn't sit or lay on my back for many months. By the time I got out of prison I had mostly recovered, but even to this day, there are severe scars and the area can be a bit sensitive. It was way worse than I expected the experience to be. I know it's my fault, but I do wish my parents had warned me more about the seriousness of justice here when we moved back, though I know I wouldn't have listened as a stupid teen. Thankfully they were supportive when I got out and I'm getting back on my feet, literally and metaphorically. TLDR, got caught for robbery in Singapore, found out judicial caning is way worse than I ever imagined. TIFU, letting out gas when I thought I was alone, by user Likey8ther. I, 33F, have a new boyfriend, 40M, I am head over heels about. He is smart and handsome and kind and so sexy. We have been going out for a couple of months and I am completely enamored. We decided to go away for a weekend to NYC and he surprised me at the hotel with the most decadent, buttery pastries and I couldn't stop myself. I ate them despite knowing my stomach wouldn't be happy after. And it wasn't. It was rumbling and cramping. But I held the gas in like a trooper. There was no way this Romeo was gonna see that side of me. So I went to take a shower. I made sure the water was coming down nice and loud. My dream man was in the other room. Door was closed. Coast was clear. It was good, I would just let a few controlled toots out so there was no way he could hear it. Alas, as the little trumpet let out its first notes, I felt the arms of this beautiful man wrap themselves around me from behind. He wanted to surprise and join his sexy new girlfriend in the shower. The poor man was hoping for a soapy hot babe but instead was met with wet naked farts, which are the worst kind. He couldn't stop laughing. Oh well. TLDR, farted in front of new boyfriend when I thought I was alone. He surprised me in the shower, so mortifying. TIFU by not seeing a dentist for a decade with a broken tooth and finding something awful in the hole, by user TIFU. I, 43F, have a severe dental phobia. My husband has to take the kids to the dentist because I just cannot be in the building. I brush and floss to try and minimize the need, but then this happened. About a decade ago, I bit into something crunchy and a tooth snapped in half. It didn't cause any pain, so I left it. I brushed as usual, flossed as usual, but I found that I had a really bad taste in my mouth. I bought an electric floss thing that uses water and tried that. Foul-smelling food fell out. I was mortified, but I'd found the solution and carried on my usual routine. Cut to decade later. It's night time. I brush my teeth, floss my teeth, and use the electric flosser. I do a quick visual check to make sure the hole is clear, when I see something. I grab some plastic tweezers that I have, and I start to dig around. I think I have it, so I pull it out. It was a hair. A disgusting, discolored hair wrapped up in my tooth with clumps of food stuck to it. I am so mortified that I just stare at it in horror. I have no idea how this happened and I hate myself. The next day, I called the dentist and made an appointment. I'm having the tooth extracted in a week and I can't wait. TLDR, I broke a tooth, didn't see a dentist because of a phobia for a decade, and pulled an actual hair out of the hole in my tooth. Have an appointment to see the dentist in a week. TIFU by making our neighbors believe they have rats in their walls, by user _de Trompo. We live in the end unit of a condo, so we only have neighbors one side and we share the wall on that side. When we had just moved in we found out the previous tenants were hoarders and had created a rat problem in our walls. The way they scratched is burned into my brain. That's all solved now thankfully. Before the current neighbors there were two families, both of them with teenagers, one of them with a kid with autism that their mom told us he screams and throws stuff. Both families have two big dogs. Never heard a peep from them in our house. Nothing. Nada. Like the house next to us was unoccupied. The family that's living next to us is just a couple and their young kid, maybe 5 to 6 years old. And yet they are the noisiest people I've ever met. They seem to be moving furniture around the whole freaking day, we can hear them stomping, we can hear their TV, they yell at each other constantly, it'd be funny if it wasn't so annoying. 2 days ago while I was watching TV they started their shenanigans and I unconsciously started scratching the wall the way I remember rats scratching the wall and that made the noise stop. I did it again yesterday and it worked yet again. Today we woke up to the sound of drills, saws, and smashing on their side of the wall. I'm pretty sure they're looking for a rat they'll never find. TLDR found out the sound of scratching their wall like a rat made noisy neighbors stop being noisy. Cause them to tear down their wall. TIFU by telling a guy I'm going on a first date with tomorrow that my mom has a surprise for us, by user Kick Salad. This happened roughly 10 minutes ago. So, I, 20F, have been talking to this cute guy for a couple weeks on Bumble. I'm really enjoying talking to him. He's super sweet and funny, and has a lot of personality. Last week, he asked me what my ideal first date was and I said coffee because I like coffee and talking. LOL. And we agreed to Tuesday which is now tomorrow. I've been really busy all week and lo and behold was just scrolling through fucking TikTok when it hit me our date is tomorrow and I do not know when or where we are meeting. Shit. Relevant background, my mom has also been asking me when I'm free on Tuesday for an unspecified event. She will not give me details. She is very adamant that it is a surprise. I know it was more expensive than the zoo, but less expensive than the concert we went to a couple weeks ago. That's it. Right? Super vague. I love my mom, she's so excited about it LMAO. Anyway, I hit OLE pal with this message, which I have copied and pasted straight from the source. Also it just struck me that our date is tomorrow when and where do you want to meet, I'm free until 3 p.m, Smiley face, my mom is apparently planning a surprise for us but she's being very cryptic about what it is lol. Yeah, so I meant my sister and I but guess how that sounds? He just went oh boy okay and I was like sorry I hit you with that out of the blue. Meaning bringing up the date in the middle of our convo. But this comment did not help my case. He was like I'm just kinda socially anxious, so I was like oh I promise I'm really chill I just talk a lot, we can also go to this cool back room that's not totally separate but it's quieter with some cool windows and he went nah I'm good one-on-one I'm just nervous about meeting your mom. It all clicked in that moment. Fuck. Fuck fuck. I immediately clarified. I am mortified. He is relieved, oh my god thank god. I'm just thankful he was still chill about it even when he thought he was meeting my mother. On the first date. Oh my god. Lord have mercy on my soul. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. And yes, my mom did nearly piss herself laughing when I told her right before writing this post. Dr. Going on first date tomorrow with cute guy. Told him I was free until 3 p.m. because my mom was planning some surprise for us, referring to me and my little sister. Didn't realize how that sounded. He was nice about it. I am currently eating my own foot. Edit 1, wow, I feel like I see this on every Reddit post that gets attention, but I truly didn't expect my word salad to get this much attention. Thank you guys for all the lovely comments. Even the ones that call me an idiot, or insufferable, or illiterate. LMFAOO I don't take it to heart, this is Reddit after all, smiley face, they're funny to me more than anything else. Also, I love that you guys are all joking about my mom being some mastermind like an ominous horror movie background villain. My favorite was someone joking she'd pretend to be a barista at the coffee shop. They have given me many a laugh. I just got back from the date and it went really well. We just chatted for 2.5 hours. Apparently he doesn't even like coffee. But he was too nice to tell me lol. So he got a smoothie. He was very sweet, and I was nervous that I talked his ear off too much. But he walked me to my car and he just messaged me to tell me he had fun and that we should do it again sometime fist pumping the air RNFR. My mom is currently taking my sister and us, to the surprise. Updates on that to come in a couple hours. Much love, 3. Edit 2, also seems like some people are also bothered by my lack of capital letters ha moving right along. The surprise was, drumroll please. The Disney Animation Immersive Experience. It's here locally right now and she bought my sister and I surprise tickets. Lots of children screaming throughout but that's to be expected. I loved it. It was very cool because we grew up on Disney movies like a lot of other kids. She felt bad that we couldn't afford to go to Disney World over spring break, it quite because we haven't been able to for like a decade lol, but it was really cute that she found this as an alternative. Made it more special that she picked it, smiley face, updates are officially over. Hope you enjoyed your closure the same way I did LMAO.